Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks Girls. Come have lunch with us every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and listen to the Young and Nora Bell Show on ESPN 690.
Investigative journalism. It's the difference between the Action News Jack style of news and everyone else's.
I'm Ben Becker. This scam is targeting residents on the South Side.
We investigate so you're crystal clear how a story impacts you.
I'm Emily Turner. Look at the fine print because you're still getting billed.
Because our reporters don't just tell you what happened. We break down how it affects you and your neighborhood, which is why people are putting their trust in us. Action News Jacks at 5 and 6. It's local coverage you can count on.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Rodehaver's Boys Ranch. It's a working ranch home for 50 otherwise homeless boys. These are boys who, for whatever reason, just have no place else to go. In a stable, loving, disciplined environment, each boy has a job.
Rodehaver Boys Ranch is a faith-based foster care facility that relies entirely on your generous donations. Please consider donating a vehicle in any condition, property, cash gift, and remember the ranch in your estate planning. Visit rbr.org.
Only now you know the rest of the story.
When a child gets a diagnosis of cancer, wraparound care is vital. That's why the Child Cancer Fund is proud to announce the Child Cancer Fund Psychosocial Services Endowment in partnership with the Moores Children's Health. This provides music, animal-assisted therapy, psychology, educational services to local kids fighting cancer. It's a holistic approach that has a lifelong impact on the children we serve in our community. To make a donation and support these families, become a monthly donor at childcancerfund.org. That's childcancerfund.org.
It's part 2 of the 60th Bob Hayes Invitational, presenting the James Coach Day Memorial Scholarship Golf Tournament at the Eagle Landing Golf Course on Monday, May 6th at 9 a.m. with 18 holes and a special prize of $10K for the hole-in-one, plus lunch and raffles. Register now at bhitm22.org. That's bhitm22.org or call 904-222-1075.
See dealer for complete details. Don't miss the largest pre-owned inventory sell down we've ever had at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Our pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs must be sold, and no reasonable offer will be refused, including our great selection of certified Ram trucks and Jeeps. There's only one dealer with so much to choose from. It's here at I-295 and Bay Meadows. Now is the time to save thousands. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, only at I-295 and Bay Meadows.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save thousands on hundreds of Mother's Day gift ideas. Now at Beard's Diamonds. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Mavericks point guard Luka Doncic declared himself ready for Game 5 tonight of the first-round NBA playoff series against the Clippers, but did acknowledge he probably wouldn't be playing on his sprained right knee if this were the regular season. That series is 2-2, coverage 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. No Kristaps Porzingis for the Celtics in the potential clincher tonight, Game 5 versus the Heat, expected to miss at least several games with a calf strain. Boston can weather his absence, but only for so long, points out ESPN basketball analyst Andrea Carter.
I don't think it's a cause for concern against the Heat, not against potentially the Magic or the Cavs, but it is in whoever potentially comes out and plays in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that's where it comes into play, and that's where the Celtics will be vulnerable. I don't think the Celtics are vulnerable until the Eastern Conference Finals.
Al Horford likely starts in place of Porzingis. Tiger Woods told the Today Show he is still on track to play once a month the rest of the season and remains focused on the majors. Said he mapped out a calendar before the season began, but his physical limitations continue to make it challenging.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream.
That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. Close Shave America. Close Shave Barbasol.
Live from the Anajar and Levine studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
Ready? Yeah. Turn up your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
And welcome, everybody, to the Aaron Schachter Show. I am Aaron Schachter, behind the glass. Super producer extraordinaire, Brian Middleton. Busy today, Brian Middleton. You got a game coming up, a little this or that in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll also do a post-draft power ranking for the AFC. We'll check out the NFC tomorrow, trying to get all 32 teams in, figuring out where they slot in now that the draft is all but done. I've got sneaker news for you, Brian. I know you're a sneakerhead. This one, I don't know if you're going to be too happy about. I don't know if you're going to love it as much.
Okay.
But this is a new viral sneaker. I want to know if you would rock this or not. But before we get to any of that, I want to get to a story I saw last night, right into the business. Sitting at home, hanging with the kids, doing my thing, and I get a push alert from our sister TV station downstairs, Action News Jax. And wouldn't you know it, Ben Becker is on the case once again.
Me?
Whenever there's a problem in the city, we tend to send Ben. Welcome to the Aaron Schachter Show, Ben Becker.
Thank you for having me. So you assume if I'm involved, there's some sort of
there's a problem,
controversy or drama issue.
I got news for you, Ben. If I see you walking up to my house, you got the door shut right in your face. There's no way I'm bellying up to that microphone. I don't care what the questions are. If you're there, it means something's gone wrong.
I'm just selling cookies.
Yeah,
How do you?
sure.
I mean, that's all I'm doing.
Sure, until you take the mask off and suddenly it's a scandal about a cookie theft over the last 7 years, misappropriation of funds. Any comment, Aaron Schachter? No, thank you, Ben Becker.
No, that was last year, that story. Never mind.
Got it.
Boy.
Got it. Well, the push notification was talking about a conversation or a study, I guess, you saw, and a conversation you had with a member of Financial Watchdog, a federal financial watchdog who looks out at all these different cities and basically grades them on their financial outlook. Do I have that correct?
Correct.
All right. Who is the financial watchdog, by the way? Let's get that out of the way.
It's bow, wow, wow, yippee-yow, yippee-yay.
So a new report by a nonprofit, a government financial watchdog, and you were talking to Sheila Weinberg. She's the CEO of Truth in Accounting, and she's talking about how well Jacksonville might be set up for the future. You know, recently, obviously, in the news, or at least over the last few years, there's been a lot of talk of the police and firefighter pension plan, and there were votes on that. How would we pay for that? Would it be a tax or some other way to do so? All that seems to be in the rear view, or so we thought, when in reality, it's very much in front of us for years and years and years. Although now that we're not debating anything about it, we're not really thinking about it. And then along comes this discussion on Everbank Stadium renovations.
Yeah. So the issue is, the city's going to have to spend a lot of money on this stadium, right?
Half of what?
So we're looking at $1.4 billion is the number right now, and the city's share of it could be $700 million, $800 million, $900 million. Stop me, $1 billion, whatever it may be. And Jacksonville, unlike other cities who've paid for stadiums, will have to front that money, right? There's no state money in Florida to help the cities pay for these things, like in Buffalo or Nashville, places like that, where you get state money. So Duval, Jacksonville will have to pay for all this stuff. So right now, the city's dealing with you can call it a crisis if you like. They have a pension issue with police and fire, okay? They're looking at about $3 to $3.5 billion that they owe, right? They have these obligations. Now, you would think if you look at the budget, according to this group, that everything's fine and dandy, but they don't include that kind of number, pension, what you owe in pensions, in the bottom line. So in actuality, the city has this on the ledger, and that's a long-term issue. And down the line, there's a half-cent sales tax that's supposed to kick in But that doesn't count in this measurement for what this group looked into. They look at today, right? They're not looking at the credit card bill in the future. They're looking at what you owe today.
Why ignore the
problem.
half-cent sales tax if it's going to be bringing in so much revenue for the city?
Aha! I'll tell you why. Because there's no guarantee it's going to cover the nut in the future. There's no guarantee it will even be there. What if it gets repealed one day, right? Or how about this, a more recent example? We know about the school situation in Duval County right now.
Yeah, they're
right?
talking about closing some schools, eliminating positions. Yeah.
Right. What happened about 3 years ago? They passed a half-cent sales tax that was supposed to cover new schools, repairing schools, renovating schools. Well, all of a sudden now, there's not enough money.
Well, part of the report about the closing schools was that the renovation costs had ballooned after the pandemic.
Right.
To where the budget was blown out of control.
So that's my point, where the city could say, and the city, by the way, sent me a pretty scathing statement about this.
Oh!
Yes.
A little pushback.
Yeah, they weren't too thrilled with the story. But with that, be that as it may.
Wait, time out. Because does that feel good or no when you get a scathing letter from the city?
Well, the way they wrote it, it was more aimed at good old Sheila than yours truly.
Fair enough.
Right. What was the term? You may have it pulled up in front of you. A biased report.
Oh.
I think they called it.
A biased report.
And I don't think they're talking about Len bias. I think it was another.
Probably not.
No, another kind of biased. But they were saying she didn't include the idea of this half-cent sales tax in the future. But as we're talking about, there's no guarantee that's going to be enough to cover your costs down the line. We're talking a long time. You're talking 10 years. Let's see, I think it's 2031. So, we're talking 7 years when this thing could kick into effect. We don't know what the situation is going to be like then, And a matter of fact is the $1.4 billion we're talking about for the stadium now, we don't know that's the final number. And don't get it twisted. The $1.4 billion is just theoretically to build the stadium. If you borrow the money, at the end of the day, when the city, let's say, puts in $1 billion towards it, in 20 or 30 years, they're really paying $2 to $3 billion.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not like the city's rolling up to Everbank, the bank, and going, "Hey, I'd like to take a withdrawal of $1 billion, please."
No, you pay interest on what you borrow.
Yes.
So there's a long-term cost. There's not just that initial cost. So actually, it's going to be more money than what you think.
Not only that, but even just between now and the time that the renovations are supposed to begin, anyone watching the real estate market or costs for building anything knows that those continue to go up as well. So even if everything stays status quo, you might be talking about ballooning that 1.4 a little bit by the time you get to it.
So in this report, so I want to talk a little bit about the report. So they ranked the top 75 cities in the country for their kind of financial wherewithal, if you will. And Jacksonville, you got a drum roll, Middleton? You have a drum roll?
I actually don't have a drum roll.
What? What kind of operation are you running around here?
Exactly.
No, that won't
All right.
do it. Okay.
Yeah, my hotkeys, I might have one. Go ahead.
Jacksonville came in 65th.
At least we're top 65.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. Does that get you into that? It doesn't even get into the NCAA tournament,
It really
does it?
doesn't. No, you're in the play-in game.
Oh, you're in the play-in game.
Yes.
Right? And then you get the number 1 seed.
Possibly.
Right. And then
Best case scenario, yes.
Maybe this case, Jacksonville could be the UMBC and beat Virginia or something.
Maybe.
But yeah, so they're 65th out of 75th in the country.
75. That is 75. A rough list to be that low on.
Right. And Jacksonville got a D grade. D. Right? Not a C, not a B, not an A, not an F, but Jacksonville was graded by this group with a D. So that clearly indicates, at least according to this study that was done, that Jacksonville has some problems. How about this though? I'll give you 3 guesses. Who was number 1?
All right.
Who's like the best? You'll never guess it. And who was the worst? Who you might guess.
For worst, I'm going to go with a major metropolitan area. One of the big 3, either New York, LA, or Chicago.
Okay, you're warm.
All right. But for the best, I mean, I want to say it's got to be a small city, but by the way you're asking, I have a feeling it's not.
No.
Let's go with Tulsa.
Tulsa.
I have no idea.
No. The number 1, the best, Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow.
You would have guessed that.
Not at all.
No. That's what happens when you're federally subsidized.
Yeah, that's not a bad point, actually.
Right? They have a backstop.
Yeah.
So they have to have a balanced budget. And
I guess you have all the biggest budget experts living in the area anyway. So
they're protected. But the worst is New York City.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. At this point, they're doing all kinds of games to make up that money, too. They're charging people a congestion tax just to enter the city with a car above and below certain streets. It's already a monstrous number when you're crossing bridges over there. So imagine, if you would, Jacksonville being forced not to pay a 50-cent toll on JTB, but if you're coming in from St. John's or Clay County to Duval, they charge you $14 each way when you cross a bridge or something like that. It's insanity.
But you get to smell the coffee downtown. So
the coffee does smell good downtown.
So at least you get that.
Yeah. Not worth $30 a day, though.
Probably not. So, and why this is newsworthy right now is because in just 13 days, the mayor's office is going to present its negotiation results with the Jags to City Council. So this is what we've been waiting on, right? This is what we've been waiting for. This is the big moment. You know, when the dust settles and the smoke clears, there's one thing we'll know, and one thing we'll know for sure. Jacksonville is going to be paying hundreds of millions of dollars. The question is, how much will they be paying? And we'll find out in 13 days. It sounds like I'm promoting a pay-per-view for WrestleMania.
Bit. It does sound like Tyson versus Jake Paul, the City Council edition.
Right. But that's what we're going to find out, right? Mike Weinstein's going to be in front of the dais with the 19 council members there, and he's going to lay out what the city's negotiated with the Jags.
Makes me a little nervous. In some cities, they allow the voters to vote on a referendum to fund it, whether it be through a sales tax or something like that. In other cities, you have what's happening here, which is essentially policymakers, movers and shakers, the bigwigs in the city deciding on the best path forward. Some people prefer it that way. Some people do not. They like the choice in their hands. But when you're talking about a D grade, when you're talking about being 65th on a list of 75, I'm not sure that the council is necessarily accounting for that at this point so far down the negotiating road.
The Jags are going to get their money. All right, let's make no mistake about this, all right? They're going to ask for something. They're going to get, if not all of it, then most of it, okay? What I envision is this. There's going to be a number, and the Jags are going to say, look, we would love for you to only put in $600 million or $700 million, okay? We would love for you to do that. But the NFL owners won't approve a deal like that. So you have to put in $900 million. You have to put in $1 billion, wherever it may be, right? So at the end of the day, the Jags are, whether intentionally or not, will be the good guy. Look, we're trying to do a good deal here for you, but these NFL owners over here, they're not going to let us do that.
Yeah.
They're going to make us have to get $1 billion out of you.
That is the other side of this. You see it a little bit in baseball and the NBA as well, where the owners will look towards these city referendums, these stadium deals, and say, this isn't just about Jacksonville and Jacksonville's stadium, or Buffalo or Nashville, or Chicago just released some plans they have for a $4 billion lakefront stadium. It's not just about the individual city, but as one goes, we all go. And so I think a guy like, Robert Kraft or whoever have you, whatever owner from another city looks at the Jacksonville deal and goes, we can't allow Shad Khan, the Khan family, to pay more of this bill than we would be comfortable paying in our own cities, because precedent gets set every time we do
exactly
something
right.
Like this.
And the Khan family may want to do Jacksonville a solid. They may want to say, look, we do want to help, but they're in no position to do that. They would not be allowed to do that. They're a member of a country club that has to approve membership. And they only are allowed to do what the rules say they can do.
Yeah.
Right? And they're only going to bring certain guests to the party. And they're going to bring Jacksonville, the city, to the party if it's paying a certain amount. So that's the rub. That's the position that the city's going to be in. And it'll be interesting to see how it's going to be played out. The one thing I look forward to is going to be the discussion of how so much economic impact this is going to provide. And all the cheerleaders for the stadium are going to say how much it's going to help the city, how it creates jobs, how it creates long-term impact for the city, brings in tourists. But you ask almost any economist who studies this stuff, and they'll tell you not only do stadiums not benefit a city, sometimes they actually hurt the economy.
And sometimes they become a drain. Sometimes they become a drain. This bias report is what the letter says, fails to account for the half-cent sales tax approved by the citizens of the city council in 2016. Surtax, always intended to begin in 31, over 30 years, eliminate our unfunded pension liability, which was inherited by this administration. A little passing the buck there. Inherited by this administration.
Boy, blame the Curry administration right there.
After decades of pension fund mismatch.
That goes beyond Curry. They're going maybe to Alvin Brown and beyond.
A little bit beyond that. Additionally, our long-held high-grade bond ratings from major credit agencies, that's a little shade towards the watchdog right there.
Yeah.
From major credit agencies show the city's sound financial condition. The stadium deal presented to City Council will include a menu of viable funding options with the impact for each. Here's my beef with the response even. Right. Anybody who has eyeballs looks at the country's financial situation from city to city, and it's very hard to imagine anyone being flushed with cash right now. It's a weird time for finances. It's top heavy and it's bottom heavy, and there's not much going on in the middle for much of the cities. So for the city to come to you with this letter and be like, what are you talking about? Roses and flowers. We're great. Everything's fine. It actually makes it feel less believable.
Well, one of the concerns, and just think about it like if you own a house right now or you want to buy a house, what's the biggest problem with that? Interest rate.
Interest rate, yeah.
Right? If you want to buy a house, what are you looking at? 7% right now?
About.
Right? It used to be 2.5%, 2.75%, 3%.
For the last 15 years or so, yeah.
Right. It's been great, right? It's been, free money. So it's been a lot easier to buy things. Well, the cost of living's gone up, right? The cost of doing business has gone up. And from the moment we're talking about a stadium now, when actually they start construction, that cost is going to go up. So anything you say now today isn't necessarily true tomorrow. So the city could say they're in great fiscal condition and have a great financial plan. We'll see. But one of the ideas they floated out there before was borrowing money from the pension, fire and police, and guaranteeing them a 6.5% return. Because right now they're tied to a 401k because they gave away those rights in pension reform. And now that's being negotiated. Matter of fact, there was a negotiation today between the city and the fire department, which I'm not sure what resulted from that today. I want to find out. But they met today and to talk about their contract situation. But this will be interesting to see where that goes. Will the firefighters and police union decide, say, yeah, you know what, we're cool with a 6.5% return, and the city's like, okay, we'll guarantee that return, but what happens if they can't make those type of payments in the future?
It's interesting. They're talking about guaranteeing a 6.5. If you look at some of the online publications, Smart Asset, Investopedia, Time, they all say that an average return on a 401k or on a pension is 5 to 8%. So you're guaranteeing them, which is better than saying, well, we'll see what happens, but 6.5 is actually on the lower end of your 5.8. Like, what exactly are you promising here? Where are you pulling it from?
Well, one of the things is the city claims that they don't want to go in the open market and borrow the money because you have to pay fees. Well, still, the fees won't amount to what they're paying the firefighters and the police. Now, they're looking at it as sort of a solid for them and an enticement for police and fire. So I get that. But in the same token, police and fire negotiated those rights away years ago. So, and then the city on the back end of that, now we're looking at a situation where there's not enough firefighters and not enough police officers because there's no pension. So both sides have been culpable of where we are right now. And that deal was negotiated under the Curry administration. Now, when I've talked to leaders, at least with the fire department, and I won't say who, I've talked to people, let's just say that, and they felt like they had no choice at the time to make the deal they made, to give away the pension. And the police side, too. They felt like they had no choice because council basically would have put those terms onto them no matter what. So here we are in 2024. City's hurting for bucks. Police and fire are hurting because they're out of a pension. No one's staffed properly. And we have $1 billion possibility of putting towards a stadium. Oh, by the way, they want to spend $1 billion to build a new jail. Forgot about that part.
Yeah, lots of costs, lots of expense with running basically any city in 2024 in this country. Certainly this city. You were talking about the labor talks going on with police and firefighters because you have that need to pay $3.5 billion in bills. But the report that you were talking about in your report says that Jacksonville's only set aside 47 cents for every dollar promised for the pension benefits and 11 cents for every dollar promised for the retiree health care benefits. This is pre-half-cent sales tax, right?
Right. So that's where they are right now.
And it leaves each taxpayer on the hook for $11,200 to get the city out of debt. I don't think anyone thinks that's happening on an individual basis or anything. It's not like the city's going to come to you one day and be like, by the way, the bill is due, pay up. That's not how that's going to work. That being said, getting out of debt doesn't seem like something that's going to be feasible until you solve the problem.
Here's the thing. The city may not come to you and say, hey, cut me a check for $11,000, but at what point can they keep holding back from raising property taxes?
Depends. How far away from an election are we?
Right? They've kept those where they are. I know city council wouldn't approve raising property taxes, most likely, not a Republican-led city council. But at the end of the day, you're going to need to get that money from someplace. So it's going to be from property taxes. Maybe it's another half-cent sales tax. Maybe there's another avenue, which I'm working on right now, which I can't tell you.
Okay.
But there's another way that they're looking at getting money for this deal. I can't go into it.
Interesting.
But there is a way, and I'll just say there's a piggy bank in town that they're looking to break open with a hammer.
Interesting. A little scoop, a little half scoop
Half
from
scoop.
Ben Becker.
Well,
We'll get the other half at some point later down the road.
Yeah, it's like Neapolitan.
Ben Becker, we appreciate you coming up here at Ben Becker Action News. You got big reports coming up. What's another big one you're working on right now?
Oh, tomorrow we're talking about employment scams and how AI is playing a role in that. So people getting like fake checks in the mail, stuff like that. You think it's too good to be true. Yeah, no, it's good. I'll cash this check and I'll send them back half of it because they said they need that for taxes and fees. I'll keep the rest and then everything's good. And so the bank says, wait a minute, this check's a fake and you owe us $5,000.
No. That is a nasty situation to be in.
Tomorrow, 5:45, Action News.
Ben Becker doing the good work down there at Action News. Appreciate you coming up here to the Aaron Schachter Show. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Zay Jones saying goodbye to us after we said goodbye to Zay Jones, Brian. A little more sadness on the Aaron Schachter Show as we bid a fond farewell to one of my favorite Jaguars. Back in a second on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and very warm today with just a hit or miss shower later this afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s, dropping into the 60s tonight. And partly sunny, very warm tomorrow. Your Thursday high up to 88. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Save thousands on hundreds of Mother's Day gift ideas. Now at Beard's Diamonds.
Howard works from home. I try to keep things professional. But stuff happens. Now Howard and his wife are working with Community First on a home equity loan to make renovations to his home with no closing costs and special low rates. So Howard can build the office of his dreams.
So live your best life.
With Community First. Learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
Jacksonville Cougars. It's me, Soccer Sam from Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizzeria is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. $10 daily deals, dine-in beer and wine, and delivery. Salvatores.com.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Save thousands on Mother's Day gift ideas now at Beard's Diamonds.
Like a beautifully handcrafted 3-carat diamond tennis bracelet, originally $4,050, now sale priced at just $26,3250.
You'll save over $1,400 in the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Snyderman, can you jump really high? Can you turn invisible?
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Then no.
Then what makes you a superhero?
Our AC is out.
Duty calls, kids.
If your AC is running but not cooling, making loud noises, or your home's too humid, now you can schedule an appointment online at SnyderAC.com. You're my hero, Snyderman.
CAC 1813307.
Jacksonville is the largest city in the contiguous U.S. in square miles. So when you have to cover breaking news over an area bigger than L.A., Phoenix, or Dallas, you need an advantage. Action News Jax, with a fleet of news-gathering drones to take you to breaking news live as it happens. And with more investigative reporters on the ground. In every local county, you're informed no matter where you live. Action News Jax. Local coverage you can count on.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Guarding Your Nest Egg radio show. Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisor fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
Visit guardingyournestegg.com to find out more.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Lord License D056341.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair.
But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks Girls. We just love guys that listen to the Young and Norvell Show. Weekdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show, 904-362-9901. Man, I was such a fat guy today. Holy smokes.
Really?
Oh, my God, yes.
Talk to me.
To start off the day, driving through Dunkie, I get my breakfast. I show up to work, and it's breakfast on Wednesday. They got free bagels and cream cheese in the break room and stuff like that.
Oh, that's a thing that we do here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
First Wednesday of every month. You're on the email, bro. Open it up every once in a while.
That email that goes to 800 people, and I get 8,000 of those.
Are you too important to read your email?
They hide that amongst the 700 other ones that don't involve me.
Boo.
And plus, by the time I get here, it's all picked over.
Well, that's the thing, right? You need a friend up here, and you got to call them up, be like, hey, grab me a couple of those. By the way, they're still in the break room, so
yeah, I saw it.
I don't want to hear none of that.
You definitely can get it now.
So I showed up. I was like, even though I just had breakfast 45 minutes ago, I think we'll go in for round 2.
Love to hear it.
So I had a bagel, some cream cheese. I got a drink. Sat down at my desk, felt real proud of myself.
Good.
And I was like, all right, I'm not going to eat lunch. I'll eat a late dinner. I'll let this settle in.
True.
But then we had a cluster meeting in the middle of the day where the whole building was in this room, and they bought pizza. And it wasn't fast food pizza. It was Pizza Shop pizza. Shout out to Tony D's, one of the best pizza spots in town. It was delicious.
Yeah, it was.
And I don't know who approved the budget for the pizza, but they overspent by a little bit. There's like 15, 20 boxes in there.
They must be like, about to put in their 2 weeks notice.
I'm just
They're
saying.
Just like, we just do whatever.
I saw part-timers walking out with full pizza boxes. I'm like, oh, we got it like that?
That's insane.
We got it like that? I got kids. Where's my box? But of course, it's pizza. I had to jump in. Couple of slices of pizza. They were serving cake, too, for birthdays and anniversaries.
Oh, who knew?
A little fruit cake.
Who knew? Apparently, it's in an email that I get. One of the 800
that
emails
was
I get per day.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
So now, if you're playing at home, I've had a bacon, egg, and cheese from Dunkie.
Yeah.
As well as a medium sugary iced caramel latte with the sweet cold foam.
Love to hear it.
Came in, had a bagel with cream cheese, a flavored cream cheese. Yoo-hoo from the Vendy.
And a Yoo-hoo.
And a Yoo-hoo, yes. Can't have a bagel with cream cheese out of Yoo-hoo.
Stop it. Get some help.
My man.
What do you think? I'm older than 7? And then I went from the bagel and cream cheese and Yoo-hoo to a slice of cheese pizza and a square slice of Sicilian. Chef's kiss. Shout out to Tony. And then I had a bottle of water with that because, I want to be healthy about it.
Balance. And listen.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
I'm 40. I'm fat.
I am. Yes.
Oh, boy. And you still got dinner, Aaron.
No, not only that, but so normally before the show starts every day, what do?
You go to the vending machine.
I go to the Vendy.
But it's not always a snack. Sometimes it's just a drink.
Listen, I'm a very routine guy. You might even say I have OCD sometimes.
Yeah.
But I get the same thing every day.
Oh.
I get a water. I get a Red Bull.
Yeah.
I get salt and Vinny chips.
Oh, do you?
And I get the M&M cookies. That's my lunch.
I didn't realize that.
I'm a healthy dude. I'm built different. I didn't do that today. But you know how I know I'm a fat kid? I thought about it real hard. I was in the break room.
Debating.
Staring at the vending machine. I was close. It was real addict behavior. I was just sitting there murmuring to myself, kind of pacing a little bit. People coming in, asking me if I got a problem. No, I'm good, man. Good. Just contemplating my life, how I got to this place. Doesn't help that my wife is losing all kinds of weight these days.
Oh, good for her.
You know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like when someone's getting ready to sell the house and they start painting the walls and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I feel like she's doing that.
Oh, wow.
I feel like she's putting some new carpet in.
By sell the house, you mean?
And find an upgrade. That's what I'm saying.
The job's not finished.
Yo.
So I'm gonna come home. I'm gonna come home one day. And
Hey, what happened?
Oh,
yeah, no one's
boy.
here now.
Yo.
And it's all because I had 3 lunches and 2 breakfasts. This put me into a spiral today.
Listen, sometimes you have reset days. This is just a reset day for you. Huh?
You sure about that?
Yeah, you just got to make sure you don't pair them together day after day after
Oh,
day
you're
after
saying
week after year.
Don't stack the fat kid day.
Yeah, but today, if this is what you're going to do, this is what you do, and then Thursday comes and you go back to just
I'm not eating celery on Thursday. Like, it's not going to happen.
Nobody wants you to, but I will say, I don't know, check the emails, because apparently, well, what other days do we have? I feel like we get a lot of food here.
Well, that's what makes people happy. We do Sundays on Monday. We do first Wednesday breakfast.
What is Sundays on Mondays?
That's when we have Sundays the first Monday of every month. Don't you read these things?
Well, I don't even know about these programs, let alone know the email to look for. Who sends these emails?
I'll tell you why you don't know.
Who sends these emails?
I'll tell you why you don't know.
Why?
Something the audience doesn't understand is that you have a courier bringing you the foods from these things
so
every
extra,
day.
Man.
Just saying.
You were so extra.
That's
for
why
that.
you don't know it's happening, because you have someone serving you in the control room.
Oh, boy.
That's why.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that someone brings you the food. I got to go out and hunter-gather.
Oh, boy.
And you're sitting there, king of the castle, in the control room, having people just hand it over. You didn't even show up to the event. You didn't even show up.
This
You got
guy
pizza?
right here, man. Aaron Schachter. I'd be real with you, man.
Did you eat pizza today?
I did.
Oh, more than one slice?
I did.
Did you go in the room to go get it?
I did not.
All right, I rest my case, Your Honor.
I learned from you.
I rest my case,
Heard
Your
that you
Honor.
were running that running that routine years before I got here.
What?
So,
man, I'm just saying I do not feel good about myself today. So if you could be easy on me, I know I heard Gary the last segment call you up in the control room.
Yeah,
I know he's going to give me a hard time. Gary,
not happy.
Gary, I'm telling you right now,
He was not happy with you.
I don't feel good about myself today. I am more prone to conflict on days that I don't like myself. Just putting the warning out there. I could be very easily triggered into a verbal altercation over something that doesn't exist. Very easily make something up in my head that I hold a grudge over 2 years for. That's not a real thing. Just because I had 2 breakfasts and almost 2 lunches today.
Aaron, you're probably only at like 2,000 calories. So if you have your dinner
by 10 a.m.,
you may push 3,000, but still, that's not
3,000 calories.
That's not an incredible amount for a day.
I used to be like a human looking. Like I used to have definition in my arms.
Yeah, you do or did. Yeah.
Not anymore. Oh, what happens to a person? We were gonna play this or that.
Oh yeah. I thought we were talking about Zay Jones. I was going to cue the
We could do that very quickly because please cue the music for me when we're talking about Zay Jones. I need to get in the mood for it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yesterday, we brought you the sad news of the Jacksonville Jaguars released Zay Jones. The whole city sobbed. It was in unison. We were upset about it. I defy you to find someone happy about this. You show me that person, I show you a person in need of a hug. Doesn't exist. Well, Zay Jones saw the outpouring of love. He received it in his heart. He felt it in his bones. And he has replied. Zay Jones clearly must have been listening to the Aaron Schachter show yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
Because he got on Twitter soon after the Jacksonville Jaguars released him. And here's what he said to me and the Aaron Schachter audience. Beyond grateful for every memory, truly. Every teammate, every coach, every staff member, every fan that I've encountered or felt inspired by. The support of a strong community does so much for us athletes. Thank you more, Duval and Jags fans overseas.
Overseas? Oh.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that last sentence means.
Like London?
Because he's saying, thank you more, comma, Duval and Jags fans overseas. I get that, but he's like, all right, guys here at home, but also my family, my Jaguars family extends to London. But I don't understand, thank you more. And how come he didn't call me out by name in this tweet? I thought that would have been a little more appropriate.
Oh, you're asking Zay why he didn't?
Yeah. Yeah, instead of thank you more, Duval and Jags fans overseas, you got thank you more, Aaron Schachter, the Aaron Schachter Show, Duval, and Jags fans overseas. But that's not what we got. I'm not going to hold a grudge. Not on Zay. Not on Zay. Even though I ate 2 breakfasts and almost had 2 lunches.
Yeah, you did.
I'm not going to hold it against him. It's not his fault.
You had 2 lunches.
It's just the timing is off. Don't try to make me feel bad, Brian.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad. We're just going to call it as it is. Yeah, 2 lunches.
We'll handle our business right here if we have to.
I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm fat.
I am.
I don't remember him saying I'm fat.
He might not have. I might have edited that.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think back to the press conference. I'm like, did he say that next? That's so great.
A little audio manipulation.
It's seamless, by the way.
Well, that's what 21 years in this business will give you.
It's about to YouTube it in the next break.
Shout out to my anniversary earlier this month, or last month. In any case, this is it. Goodbye to Zay Jones, unless they bring him back on a show. Do you think they'll bring him back maybe on a small contract? Maybe a little, maybe not. Okay. Goodbye, Zay Jones.
I like how you started a question off and then you just worked through it by yourself.
It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
I shouldn't get my hopes up, is basically what I'm telling myself. Speaking of London and the London fans, the Jags overseas, Gene Fournette wrote a piece, and I think it's one of the worst-kept secrets in the league. I think we kind of knew this after last year, but here's what Gene says. Not a highly guarded secret among league insiders. When the NFL schedule is released sometime in May, the expectation is that the Jaguars are going to return for another London doubleheader this season. So you remember last year, they played 2 games in London. Yep. One at Wembley, one at Tottenham. And it looks like they're going to do it again, as was the case last year. 1 game at Wembley. It's either going to be, according to Gene, he thinks the Cleveland Browns or the Patriots. Those are the favorite opponents. New York Jets being a long shot, depending on how the schedule falls. And then maybe the Chicago Bears, the Jags will be the road team for at Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay.
So how do you feel about the prospect of possibly losing a game against the Browns, the Patriots, or the Jets here in Jacksonville?
The only one that would really upset me right now as things are constructed would be New England.
Why? You want to see Drake May or something?
No, I thought you were asking me, like, which one would just bug me, the possibility of losing the game to Cleveland, New England, or the Jets.
No. I don't mean losing on the football field. I mean losing the game to another country.
Oh.
Yeah. Because if Chicago is the Tottenham game, then you're talking one of these 3 will be the Wembley game. Cleveland, New England, or the Jets. That'll be the Jags' home game that we lose from Jacksonville, we give to Wembley.
I think the Jets game would make me the most agitated. It's probably the biggest.
It's the one with the most stars, for sure. If you want to see Aaron Rodgers before he turns to dust, this is your opportunity. Cleveland's got a good team. We saw a little of that last year. It didn't look so great for the Jaguars. I got no interest in seeing the Patriots. I mean, curiosities about Drake May, but he might not even be starting. I mean, certainly I don't think he's going to start the season, but by the time the Jags are playing the Patriots, if this is like week 9, there's a possibility he's still not starting if he didn't start the season. And quite frankly, there's really no one else on the Patriots that you feel like you have to see in the game.
Not a 1. That's impressive. Not a 1.
It might be 1 or 2 guys.
No, not at all.
None that's making you buy a whole football ticket and pay for parking and go get concessions. Unless, of course, you're like, hey, let's go see the Jaguars wax somebody. And it's like, all right, let's go to that game. I do think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Of course, we'll get to that in the 4 o'clock hour. But you know what? The doubleheader in London last year worked out really well for the team.
Turning point.
It really was. It really was. Now, the games will be in back-to-back weeks, but the order isn't set in stone. As I told you, that home game we're giving up, we don't really know who the team will be, but we kind of know what the window is because of the Jacksonville Fair usually coincides with the team leaving town. The Georgia-Florida game also often coincides with that.
That's right.
That's scheduled for November 2nd, which is where Gene is getting his guests from. So besides Jacksonville, the only teams hosting games in London are the Bears. We talked about the Tottenham game. The Vikings, which is also at Tottenham. And then the Jaguars are already playing Minnesota at Everbank Field. The Jaguars have no intention of playing 2 home games in London. We talked about that briefly pre-pandemic. And oh boy, did it almost start a riot in the city. People did not like that idea at all.
As it should.
So since they started playing out there in 2013, 8 of 11 games in October, Jags have a 6-5 record in those 11 games. They beat the Falcons last year 23-7 at Wembley. It really was a rout, even though 23-7. I guess it kind of looks like a rout. But the game wasn't even that close. And then the same could be said about that Bills game. They won 25-20, but it felt so much more of a beatdown than 25-20.
Yeah, till the very end at least.
It really felt like a dismantling, and that was at Tottenham. So I think the Jags like the way that played out. I think they think it's an advantage playing a team that just traveled to London after being in London for a week plus. I think they like that situation, so I don't think anyone's going to be upset about that. I hope it's the New England game at Wembley, and then they could go ahead and beat Chicago at Tottenham. It'd be fun to see Caleb Williams on TV. It's not like we were going to see him in Jacksonville. It's a Chicago game, but not bad. So 2 more games in London this year as expected, and we'll find that out at some point in May. Let's take a quick break. It's the Aaron Schachter Show, 904. Not 903, 904, 362. Sure? Yeah, I am sure.
Okay.
362-9901. You want to call me mean names for having too much food? I'll allow it today. Just expect a little fire throwing in return. In the meantime, when we come back, Brian, I want to talk to you about a few things. First and foremost, this new viral sneaker. I need your take as a sneakerhead. It's the Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
Let's face it, work sucks, but you do get a lunch break. That's where the Young and Norvell Show comes in weekdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690, featuring me, Terry Norvell, and former Gator basketball star and current SEC Network analyst Patrick Young. Let's face it, Hollywood has been fresh out of ideas for 25 years. So don't waste your valuable lunch break on the same old tired TV and movie shows. Tune in to the Young and Norvell Show, where we promise to make you laugh, think, get angry, but most important, you will have fun. It will quickly become your favorite part of the day. The Young and Norvell Show, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Spring has sprung, and tax return season is here. Now's the time to beautify your home by replacing your old windows with new energy-efficient, easy-to-clean windows from American Window Products. Keep the summer heat out with special glass packages, including low E3 and argon gas. American Window Products only uses the highest quality products and professionally trained employees to install. Call now to find out why they were voted the #1 window company in Jacksonville. 731-2247 for a free estimate, or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Bueller Air Conditioning presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a corporate management manager from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Les Blankston.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
That is a remarkably beige suit there, Les. Tell us, why are you on the show?
Well, I just replaced my old air conditioner with a new one from Bueller, and I'm just so comfortable these days. I wondered, am I cool now?
Let's find out, Les. Go ahead and spin the wheel.
That's right, Les. By upgrading your old AC to a more energy-efficient model from Bueller Air Conditioning, you'll save money, save energy, and proudly show your family that you are cool.
Ooh, do you think I should get a mohawk?
Pace yourself, Les.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
What's the room again?
1240, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Sammy, don't touch that. That's someone's old food.
Here we are. Do you have the key?
You have both of ours.
Oh, right. Not working.
Rub it.
Come on.
Try flipping it over.
Seriously.
Why can't we go inside?
I'm tired.
Give me yours.
You have mine.
All right.
What?
Please, if you
Dad,
could just...
why aren't you opening the door?
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 3 or more A.O. Smith water heaters. Plus, get an extra 5% off every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Get low prices on the materials you need today because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks Girls. Come have lunch with us every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and listen to the Young and Norvell Show on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. Having fun so far with you guys. Special thanks to Ben Becker for coming up here, educating us. It must feel good to get an angry letter from the city. I mean, if you got it like that. It's one thing if you're like small potatoes and the city comes barking at you, it might be a little intimidating, a little scared. Guy like Ben Becker, he's got the weight of the whole TV station behind him. He ain't scared. You get a note from the city, you frame that sucker. Put it up on the wall next to your Emmy.
We laughed about it.
We did.
They wasted their time, energy, and ink and paper.
Maybe I'll get one of those letters.
Sending a letter, physical copy.
If I were Ben, I'd be less worried about the city, more worried about the Khan family. Sending a wrestler to his house or something. Suddenly he's going to be walking around with that neck brace.
Wow.
Yeah, Becker's got to watch out.
And a big bank account.
Yeah, I guess after the fact. Sure. Hey, I mentioned to you this new sneaker that I saw online. It's the new viral sensation. I don't know that people are actually buying this thing, but they are sharing it online. It's a sneaker from New Balance. Had you seen it before I sent this link to you?
No, I hadn't even heard of it.
It's meme footwear. You might remember the last big meme footwear. I forget who made it, but it was the big, silly red foam boots.
Looking like the Mario brother. Not Mario brother. I know what you're talking about. Oh, I can't think of the cartoon
Everyone
game
wore
character.
these for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And they were expensive.
Oh, my God. Still are, probably.
They were expensive, but I know what you're talking about.
But it was like the height of meme fashion. Is Mischief makes them. I forgot it was Mischief. It's a rubber shell, foam rubber sole. Right now, they're way down in price if you want to get them. They're going for almost $2,500 right now.
What?
For these goofy red foam boots that look like you're coming right out of a video game. Awful. You look like a goose. A silly goose. Not an animal, Brian. A silly person. These aren't as cartoonish as that, but they're pretty bad. New Balance has a new shoe out that asks the question, is it a sneaker or is it a loafer? Nay, it's a snowfer. A snowfer. So it kind of looks like a sneaker with no laces. It's like a loafer would look like it has no laces. Like imagine a loafer with sneaker skin. That's essentially what you're looking at here. It's got a very hard lining around the top of the shoe where your ankle goes, as opposed to a sneaker, which has bends and dives and dips to it. This is just very consistent around like a loafer would be. It's got a strap across the front to make it look a little bit sportier, I think, and all kinds of reflective stuff. I think they're assuming that you would need the reflective stuff for running at night. Be running from the fashion police.
Doo-doo.
No? Okay.
I don't have that sound effect. I thought maybe,
Well, the reviews are positive, in case you were wondering. It is a sneaker that dares to be worn with a suit, says one review.
Oh,
I
boy.
find that hard to believe. Hard to believe.
Oh, man.
That was the Wall Street Journal's take. Envisioning its future at offices and weddings as opposed to pickleball courts. So they think this is like a fast cash kind of shoe. I don't have time to black tie it up. I'm going to go ahead and put on my snowfer while I go to this bat mitzvah.
Very specific. I feel like you're already making plans to buy this shoe.
GQ sees it as a lifestyle sneaker that's an upgrade over the Allbirds that run rampant in Silicon Valley. Allbirds remind me of that other ugly sneaker that Martineau wears. Is the Hey Dudes. Hey Dads. Hey Dudes? Is Hey Dudes a thing?
It's a TV show on Nickelodeon in the 90s, but I don't know. I've never heard this shoe.
No, man,
Hey
these
Dudes.
are shoes.
Okay.
Hey Dudes. They're almost like boat loafers. Ever see boat shoes?
Yeah, man.
Sperry's.
I got some on right now.
Ooh, what you got?
Some Sperry's.
All right.
I just said.
I thought you meant boat shoes. I thought you had a different brand.
Oh.
So you doing the BOGO with the boat shoes, or did you shell some cash out for those?
No, I got her at Ross.
All right, just
in
for
Tampa.
less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are there better deals in Tampa? I don't know. You and Keon Coleman go shopping down there.
Yeah, it was like $15.
Yeah, Brent wears the Hey Dudes. No socks, by the way.
That's
You want to talk about abusing your coworkers?
That's terrible.
What are you doing, Martineau?
He abuses the house at home, though, man.
You better keep
Imagine
those
that.
shoes on.
Put it in the mudroom, man. Go straight to the shower, my boy.
You better put his feet in the mud room. Smelling like Fritos in that house. What are you doing? Martineau out here trying to kill his all his co-livers. You're not buying these things, right? Do we know a price on these?
It's New Balance. It has to be somewhat reasonable.
You do think it's reasonable? Because I've seen expensive New Balance
100?
before. What if I told you the Snowfer is going for, man, I think it's going for, it doesn't have a price yet.
Okay, is
No,
that
'cause
much?
I thought it was going for $65, but that's a different shoe.
Oh, that's great.
It hasn't been released yet for a price. Unless New Balance has it. Nope, they don't have it yet. Hypebeast is all about this. You a Hypebeast guy?
No, not at all. But tell me what Hypebeast is saying, though.
I'm just saying they're talking about the different styles and colors. Man, you think this one that I was looking at, the silver and white, was gross. Wait till you see brown and navy.
Here's the deal.
Ugh.
Hold on, before you go any further,
Ugh.
I didn't like Crocs for the longest. I put them on, and they grew on me, and I got like...
Literally like fungus.
Maybe. I got like 8 pairs. So I don't know. If they have at least a size 16, but probably a 17 in these Snowfers, which they probably won't have.
I can't believe you called it a Snowfer.
Because it's New Balance.
It's gross.
But if they did have
Do
this,
New Balance not do big and tall?
17 is beyond big and tall. It's like...
It's like custom made.
It's like awkward.
You got to call up Shaq's foot guy.
Yeah.
You got to be like, hey, man, cut me one.
Yeah. So I'm saying if they had that, I may try it out. Or
Were you going to pause me on Shaq's foot guy?
Personal foul.
I tried to stop you, but you just want to double down. Maybe Temu has it. I don't know.
No, Temu
Yeah,
definitely
knockoff.
will not have it.
They don't have Snowfer knockoffs?
Temu has never sold a size 17 sneaker in its entire existence.
Hey, man, I bought an extra large on Temu, and, man, that thing was a small.
That's what I'm saying.
That thing was a small. I was like,
People of your height culture don't exist where Temu is headquartered.
Yeah.
So I doubt they make products for people your size. That's all I'm saying. The gray silver edition, the vibrant green, the blue, the brown and navy. The brown and navy is like
Kinda
vomit
cold?
inducing.
Oh.
Kind of cold.
I was going to ask you. I was asking.
Oh,
is
it's
kinda cold?
awful. Might be the ugliest shoe I've seen in a very long time.
When is it set to release again? Does it say in the article yet or nah?
I have not seen the drop date.
I got you.
But I'm sure you'll see a bunch of influencers on Instagram wearing it because it's so cool until that cash runs out. And then suddenly they'll never wear it ever again. When's the last time you saw a mischief red boot? Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
No.
People spent $3,000 on that. Gonna be sitting on a shelf. Don't buy the Snowfer, a PSA from the Aaron Schachter
Whoa.
Show. I'm just saying.
They may want to work with the show in
And
an
then-
endorsement capacity.
Then I will be happy to tell everyone to buy a Snowfer.
Okay.
Look, I'm not sitting here saying I'm above taking money and telling people based on the money.
Well, you're shooting the bridge down before. That's not saying. You're burning the bridge down
That's
before
right.
you when you get a chance,
Burn
man.
the boats. We ain't going back across that water. Don't get the Snowfer. That's an official recommendation from the Aaron Schachter Show. Back after the Sports Center on ESPN 690.
Ladies and gentlemen, experience the thrill of the Kentucky Derby at Best Bet. Saturday, May 4th, witness the most exciting 2 minutes in sports and dive into the action with live wagering. This could be your lucky day. Mark your calendars and join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine on May 4th for the ultimate Kentucky Derby experience. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Investigative journalism. It's the difference between the Action News Jack style of news and everyone else's.
I'm Ben Becker. This scam is targeting residents on the South Side.
We investigate so you're crystal clear how a story impacts you.
I'm Emily Turner. Look at the fine print because you're still getting billed.
Because our reporters don't just tell you what happened. We break down how it affects you and your neighborhood, which is why people are putting their trust in us. Action News Jacks at 5 and 6. It's local coverage you can count on.
Snyderman, can you move things in your mind?
Nope.
Could you read our minds?
I got nothing. Were you thinking of nothing?
No. So, what makes you a superhero?
I can tell if you should repair or replace your air conditioning system.
Snyderman can help tell you whether it's time to repair or replace your system if you answer 8 quick questions on our website. Visit SnyderAC.com and get your answer in a flash.
Flash? I think you mean Snyderman.
CAC 1813307.
Why Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned? I'll tell you why. Over 600 vehicles in stock, one location. That's over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 110 pickups. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18,000. Plus, now you get 60 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And Arlington's Credit for Everyone program. Oh, and did I mention the Summer Starts Here sales event is going on right now, even on used. Shop 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or arlingtontoyota.com.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial *invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
It's part 2 of the 60th Bob Hayes Invitational, presenting the James Coach Day Memorial Scholarship Golf Tournament at the Eagle Landing Golf Course on Monday, May 6th at 9 a.m. with 18 holes and a special prize of $10K for the hole-in-one, plus lunch and raffles. Register now at bhitm22.org. That's bhitm22.org. Or call 904-222-1075.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Mavericks point guard Luka Doncic declared himself ready for tonight's pivotal Game 5 of the first-round NBA playoff series against the Clippers, but also admitted his sprained right knee is not good. LA forward Kawhi Leonard's out with knee inflammation. Game 5, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Series is 2-2. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis sidelined for the potential clincher Game 5 against the Heat tonight, expected to miss at least several games due to a calf injury, a cause for concern for a Boston team with championship aspirations. First Take host Stephen A. Smith.
When I think about Porzingis being 7'3", being a shot blocker, being able to be that guy that offsets the usage of Al Horford to some degree, he's incredibly pivotal because remember, as long as he's out, you're asking Al Horford to do more. Him and Luke Cornett, okay? And that's not something that the Boston Celtics want to do, which means everyone will have to elevate their game, but they're not considered to be the deepest team in the league.
Source told ESPN majority control of the Dolphins not for sale after USA Today reported owner Stephen Ross turned down a $10 billion offer for control of the team, F1 Miami Grand Prix, and Hard Rock Stadium.
As humans, we like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live, U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations apply. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
You ready? Yeah. Turn up your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. Had a lot of negative feelings in that 3 o'clock hour, Brian. I'm trying to be only positive for the 4 o'clock hour.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't like the way I was feeling. I think you helped me lean in there. Would have appreciated some support instead.
I mean, I always got your back.
It didn't seem like it.
Nah, for real, man.
Nah, it seemed like when I was hating on myself, you were all about it.
No, I'm always going to tell you how it is, though.
Oh.
That's why we're so strong, man. That's why we work. You know what I mean?
We do work, Brian.
I'm not going to shake your hand and be like everything's cool. Then, when I see you and some other friends, then switch up like you've had experience in the past.
A little callback.
You know what I mean? That's not me.
To other beefs.
Okay? That's why we never going to have beef.
It's funny you have to specify
That's
which
gonna
beef
last.
we're talking about when it comes to me because there's so many to choose from. You know what we never talked about the other day?
What's that?
We never talked about Roger Goodell going on the Pat McAfee show and talking about some of the changes he'd like to see coming to the NFL. This actually got me a little bit excited. You got my hotkeys up? I want to play this for a second. This is a quick cut.
I think we're good at 17 now, but listen, we're looking at how we continue. I'm not a fan of the preseason. I don't think we need preseason.
Waste of time, right? And energy.
I don't buy it, and I don't think these guys like it either.
Well, they have to spend full price for the tickets for those games.
No, they're actually discounted now. The reality is, I think I'd rather replace a preseason game with a regular season any day. That's just picking quality, right? So if we got to 18-2, that's not an unreasonable thing. The other thing it does, which I thought you were going to, is that ends up on President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes the Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. So that's
wow.
Now we're cooking.
That's really the headline for me right there. It's not so much the 18 games. It's not so much getting rid of the preseason. Both would be awesome. Another regular season game, that rocks. Getting rid of the preseason games, that's great. No one's got any use for them, except for maybe the coaches.
Yeah, and guys trying to make the team.
Sure. You do that other ways. You figure it out in practice. You figure it out in OTAs. You figure it out in camp.
All right.
Are you going to make us sit there and watch preseason games?
No one's making you do anything.
I'm just saying the starters don't even play anymore.
Okay.
It used to be a thing, right? You used to see starters in game one, a little bit more in game two, and then you'd see them for like 3 quarters or a half or something in game 3, and then none of them in game 4. Now you barely see any of the stars all preseason. It's gotten weird for fans. And you see Goodell takes a little bit of offense there. Oh, discounted tickets, actually.
Yeah, he did.
Can't discount them enough.
Enough to make a profit.
You want to see third strings on both sides? You're going to charge me what? More than $5? Rip off. That's not what I'm there to see.
Just to let you know, you're leaning back into the negativity in the 4 o'clock hour.
You know what? Okay. All right. Let me reset
because you said
here.
I didn't have your back, and I'm trying to.
Okay.
I think you're entertaining this
all
way,
right,
but
No, let me just. Okay. We're better. Let's talk about the positivity. 18 games in a season.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's great. 3-day weekend for the Super Bowl. That is the key. You want to talk to me about a Christmas game, a Black Friday game? Fine. You want to talk to me about taking back Memorial Day? Some people want to see that? Fine. You want to talk about the whatever games, special extra games you want to do? Fine. But the 3-day weekend on the Super Bowl is key. There are 2 official holidays that need to give us the day off after the holiday. I think Super Bowl is the third one. First one is New Year's.
All right.
Businesses, they give us off January 1st. We actually need off December 31st and January 1st because we go to party on the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to sleep in late on the 1st. So you need the 2 days off there. And often we don't get it. July 4th. What's the thing everyone wants to see on July 4th?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Everyone wants to see the fireworks. But if you got to work July 5th, now you're tired.
Terrible.
I'd rather have off the 5th than the 4th.
That's a solid point. You should run on that.
But they should give us both those days. It's a 2-day holiday. Super Bowl weekend should include the Monday off of work. And if Goodell can fuzz with the schedule to make it happen, this man's the GOAT of all commissioners all time.
Wow. Okay.
3-day weekend for the Super Bowl? Like there isn't another sport that needs it.
I mean, technically it's a 3-day weekend anyway, even if you go into work. You've heard the studies or the news reports like the non-productivity that happens the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's unofficial, so you're just saying make it official so that nobody's fooling themselves that work is really getting done.
All right, but not everyone gets to like hide in a cubicle. Some people actually have to work at the gig.
Still for less productive. Yeah.
For the dude who's like offloading the truck out the loading bay, it's not like he could pretend to offload the truck. He's got to actually do it.
He can do it slower though.
And he will. He will. But he shouldn't have to do it at all, is the point. Everyone should have off Super Bowl Monday. That should be what the holiday is called.
You know
what is it called now? President's Day?
President's Day.
Super Bowl Monday.
Said George and Abe?
Nah.
It is what it is, man.
Look, Founding Fathers, they knew. They were here for others, not for themselves.
Yeah.
They don't need to be celebrated as
They can Google you
idols.
if they want to know.
That's right. That's right. What were you going to say, Brian?
But you know, Aaron, I'm going to make a note right now.
Ooh.
I said it jokingly, but I really mean it.
Let's see. What
you
do you
make
mean?
solid points from time to time every show, right? So consistent. I think I'm going to start writing them down because I really think that you should use some of these points as we get into an election year next year.
Interesting.
And you run on that.
Interesting.
The
Maybe
July
we will.
5th thing is you would start to make a dent in the presidential numbers.
Well, they already do this for some holidays, right? Like they give off Christmas Eve and Christmas for most jobs. They give off Thanksgiving and Black Friday for most jobs. But I think that's usually the Black Friday thing is because, you've finished out the week. Like you're going to come back for Friday. Come on, everyone's going to take that day off.
Yeah.
You might as well just give it to everyone. Well, you might as well just give it to the Super Bowl Monday. You might as well just give it to the day after Independence Day.
But then what's going to happen when you want to go get your Dunkin' the day after the Super Bowl with your day off? And then you're like, wait a minute.
No, Dunkin's got to be open.
Okay. So food service and retail.
Not all of them. Just Dunkin'. There are a few that are like essential workers.
Okay.
We learned all about that in 2020.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
And so I think Dunkin' has to be listed there for that. Because if I wake up, Super Bowl, what do they call it? Super Bowl Monday? Even though it was already Super Bowl Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
For lack of a better term right now. You can call it Hangover Monday.
We'll work on it.
All right.
I'll be your chief of staff.
I appreciate that.
And your speechwriter. We'll
Thank
figure this
you.
out.
Great. I feel much better about this
That's a great point. July 5th. National holiday.
Take it to the mayor's office. Call Ben Becker.
And if July 4th runs on a weekend, you get that following Monday off. You know how sometimes that happens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're going to go harder if the holiday is on, on
Saturday
the weekend anyway.
or something. Yeah,
Saturday.
you might do 2 or 3 parties.
I still need that Monday off.
Yes,
Thank you.
man. Yeah. I mean, while we're at it, Brian.
Okay.
I mean, if we're really talking about it.
Yeah.
4-day work week should be what we're doing here.
You make too much sense.
What's happening out there that we're not doing a 4-day work week? Where are the people on this one?
4 10s or 4 8s or 4, and if you're efficient, you get it done before.
Look, if you're trying to appease Mr. and Mrs. Corporation, you say 4 10s. But I think we all learned during the pandemic 4 8s gets it done just fine.
Okay.
It gets it done just fine.
Next talking point.
What are you really missing? What are you really missing out on that Friday? You've been in this building on a Friday.
They're already doing the 4 8s. looking at that parking lot on a
what
Friday
kind of
and a
business
Tuesday.
A quick check of the parking lot on a Friday, and man, you're not seeing much.
When the parking lot is full, I tell you, it's one of three things that runs through my head: free food, someone important from corporate's in town.
There might be a performance happening.
Oh, there's a performance happening. That's the only time our parking lot is full.
There might be a musical superstar.
I'm like, this is how many people really work here. I know we got all these offices up here, but I never see any of these people.
Yeah, otherwise, every other Friday is absolutely just
absolutely
dust bowls rolling through, owls hooting, and everything.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well, I wanted to, if we could get off of that topic for a second.
Yeah,
I'm making too much sense.
You are.
I wanted to do a little exercise with you over the next couple of days. I wanted to post-draft power rank some of these squads. Because while I do think some teams made a pretty significant impact during the draft, I don't necessarily think too many teams did. I think this is one of these drafts where we say these names long enough and we talk ourselves into thinking real change is going to come of a draft pick. And I'm not sure it is. You're talking to me about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Yeah, sure. Very much will impact the record and the team. Caleb Williams, I think will have gigantic impact. Rome Odunze, for that matter, a big impact. But even in like the top 15 picks, like, do we really expect Indy to take a huge jump up because of Latu? And I know he's a well-respected edge rusher. A lot of people consider him one of the best defenders in the draft, if not the best edge rusher in the draft. But do you think he's worth a win or two as a rookie? Like, when's the last time you saw an edge rusher really dominate in a rookie season? Would you say Hutchinson did it? I guess. Few and far between, though. Few and far between. And so the question that becomes, where do you start? And so where I would like to start, well, see, Brian, I was going to start at the worst teams, but you told me not to be negative.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe we start at the best teams. A lot of people put Kansas City first on every list. We'll do the AFC here.
All right.
I do have a small beef putting Kansas City first.
Oh, boy. All right. Let's hear it.
I don't know if it's enough of a beef to keep him out of first place, but here's my only gatekeep right here. Last year, it did not look good. It just didn't. The offense didn't really have it together. We almost kind of doubted whether they would be a top 4 seed for a little bit as Denver started to make a run. I don't think there's anyone in the West who can challenge them, so I do think they'll be a top 4 seed. I don't think they're one of the best teams I don't think they're the best team in the AFC.
That's an incredible take from you.
It is. Back-to-back Super Bowl championships, the best quarterback in the NFL, best tight end in the NFL, one of the best defensive interior guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
Great players around that team, but I look at other teams that I have slotted in front of them, and I think they'll give Kansas City a tougher time. And so instead of putting KC first, I would like to put Baltimore back in first place.
Oh, Ben Becker would have loved to hear that.
Where are you at on Lamar Jackson and Baltimore?
Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the league.
Year 2 with Todd Monken, it's going to look better, right?
Incredible.
Year 2 with Zay Flowers is going to look better.
Love Lamar
Rashad
Jackson.
Bateman just got paid. They picked up Derrick Henry. What?
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
They still got Harbaugh, head coach. Like, what is not to love about Baltimore?
They're not Kansas City. I'm not putting anybody ahead of Kansas City till someone proves it now. Because Baltimore did the same thing last year, some different pieces. And when it became crunch time, what happened? Kansas City won against Baltimore.
It's a good point.
So that's the difference, that they're not Kansas City. And as great as Lamar Jackson is, he's not Patrick Mahomes or on that level yet. And that's with 2 MVPs. I get it. He is great, Hall of Fame great right now. He could stop. 2 MVPs of the league. Hall of Famer right now, Lamar Jackson. Dynamic, one of the most dynamic weapons that we've seen in the past quarter century since 2000 has started. And I get it. They're a great team, maybe a close 1B, but I can't put them ahead of Kansas City, Aaron.
Okay. I'll defer to you on this one because I'm not sold. I'm not sold on Kansas City not being number 1. I just had a little bit of a pushback here. But I'm not uncomfortable putting them number 1. I don't think it's it. But we'll do it for the purposes of this. We got KC at number 1. Baltimore, you comfortable with them at number 2 then?
I do.
All right. So if we assume Baltimore is number 2, you have a couple of choices here of teams. I think this is where it gets a little muddy in the AFC, if you're asking. Right? You got teams like Miami that showed it could play regular season with as good as anybody. You got a team like the Jets, who added to the team's defense, already elite defense, who get Aaron Rodgers back, who made an offensive line full of Pro Bowlers. Granted, they're all in their 30s and injury cases, but certainly have protection until they get injured. You've got a team like Cincinnati with Burrow back. You've got Jackson, Houston. If I had to name the next team up, though, I really think it's between the Jets and Cincinnati.
Yes.
And so I would like to go Jets, but I think it's because I'm a Jets homer. So we'll go Cincinnati. How do you feel about Cincinnati in that third spot?
Hey, when Joe Burrow is healthy, all he does is get to the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. When he can stay upright or when his calf isn't like falling off of his bone, that's what Cincinnati is. So
it sounds delicious, by the way.
I know, right? And unless T. Higgins figures a way to force his way out, he's going to have that receiving trio one more time.
No, I feel like Higgins is there for the season, don't you?
Yeah. And so, listen, I know their minus Mixon now, but Joe Burrow healthy, I got to put Cincinnati next. But the Jets do intrigue me, Aaron. And I get that you're a homer, but Aaron Rodgers, it does intrigue me.
I do think they're going to be pretty good this year if Aaron Rodgers is able to stay upright. If he's able to stay upright, they got elite play from the quarterback, elite play from the running back. That offensive line, again, if they're able to stay healthy, is going to be one of the better in the league. And the defense is lights out. It's gotten better. It's gotten better. More push up front. Unbelievable. That being said, Joe Burrow's got to prove that you can count him out. And we haven't done that yet. Outside of the delicious calf falling off the bone kind of stuff, you haven't really proved Joe Burrow has that he's not one to bet on when it comes to making the postseason and going far. So we'll go Cincinnati, New York Jets. We're at the 5 spot. KC, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Jets. Jets, Cincinnati, Baltimore off the board, and KC. So you're left with Miami, in my opinion, teams that I think will make the playoffs. Miami, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Houston. Miami, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Houston. Last year, I picked Cleveland to go to the Super Bowl. I really believed in them. I thought the defense was elite. It proved to be so.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Deshaun Watson would be better than he was. And if you can believe it, entering year 3 of this disaster, I'm still not sold that he's not.
That he's not going to be better? Or
yes.
He's not? Yeah.
I mean, still young, still extremely talented. All he's got to do is get healthy. And I think it's a different conversation for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to put them in the 5 spot. How do you feel about that? Miami, Cleveland.
So it's
Jackson,
tough
Houston.
Because I do believe that Cleveland, out of those teams that you just named, probably is the most stable. And just kind of hear me out on this. Because of the defense and because of what they can do with the run game, I don't know the status of Nick Chubb, but to do what they did last season and not have Nick Chubb for most of the season, you got to think, this team grew immensely. And you're right. The Deshaun Watson thing still intrigues me, even going into year 3. But listen, Houston, I think the bottom has to fall out for C.J. Stroud, but he kept proving me wrong last year.
So you're going Houston here.
I think so, man. You look at some of the moves that they have right now.
Here's the thing. I allowed you to do this to me with KC and Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it with Houston here.
Okay.
I'm not a believer.
I can see that.
I know what I saw last year. It looked great.
It looked great.
I got to see it from C.J. Stroud this year, especially with everyone's got him on tape now.
No expectations are there.
Everyone knows what they're playing. They're the hunted, not the hunter. You're adding Stephon Diggs to the mix. A lot of people on paper go, well, that makes you a lot better. We've seen a lot of times that not make you better.
Josh Allen on line 1 wants to comment on that.
So I would like to see it again before I sell out for Houston.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're a bad team. I have them in my top 8.
It's not ahead of Cleveland.
But not here. I think Cleveland destroys them if they play.
Okay.
I think Miami kind of slots in here next, although you would probably have Cleveland if although go ahead. What do you think? Miami or Cleveland or another team I'm not mentioning?
The Jags.
Do you think the Jags are better than Miami on this power ranking? I hesitate.
I want to say yeah.
I hesitate, man.
But number one, the Miami offense is just spectacular.
Now, I believe the Jags defense, believe it or not, the thing that's undergone the most change and has the most question marks, I believe it's way better, Miami's defense. Way better.
Way better?
Way better.
Yeah,
Miami's had a lot of turnover on that defense.
They did.
A lot of turnover on that defense. They lost key players.
Yeah, you're right.
Key players. And so I have way more faith in the Jags defense at this point than I have in Miami's defense. But when you look at the offense, Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, Achane.
Everywhere. Problems everywhere.
Like if you were to match head-to-head with the Jags roster, piece by piece, like if you were to strip the car for parts, there's more money on the Miami team for those parts. As a whole, maybe it looks a little bit different for Jacksonville. That's a team with continuity. Has been playing together for a while. Key players there. You got hope in Brian Thomas. You got hope in that offensive line. If it works, it'll work well. You just don't know if it's going to work. I can't put them above Miami. Not yet.
Yeah, I probably would have Cleveland. You're right, next. So.
Go in Cleveland in that 6th spot then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 7th spot. I'm going to go ahead and put the Jaguars. So on my list, KC, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Jets, Browns, Dolphins, Jaguars.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
And I'm going to put Houston after them. For you, you go Houston at 5, Cleveland at 6. You still have Miami. You still have Jacksonville.
Yeah.
You still have the teams like Buffalo.
I think Miami's going to be a good regular season team and then do what they did last year in the playoffs.
So you go Miami, Jags. Yes?
Jags, Miami.
Jags, Miami.
Jags, Miami.
So your top 8 is KC, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Jets, Houston, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Miami.
Yep, sounds good.
Those are your playoff teams.
Yeah.
Now we get to this middle tier is a little more murky. For instance, a team like Buffalo.
Pittsburgh right there. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Pittsburgh with 2 new quarterbacks. Pittsburgh with a lack of wide receivers.
Well,
I do not think that's a playoff team. You think they're a playoff team? Buffalo, Pittsburgh.
For the sake of this, though, I got
Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson.
Indy's a wild card.
Almost made the playoffs last year. Or did they make the playoffs last year?
Indy's a wild card.
What do you got at number 9? Because at number 9, I've got Buffalo.
Nah, I would have to take a look at their wide receiver room again. I know they got somebody there.
There's no point in taking a look outside of Keon Coleman. You don't know those names.
Maybe I do.
All right.
But most people don't. I understand. The average fan wouldn't. Not Buffalo. I think right there, again, I'm intrigued to see what Indianapolis is going to be. I think that Steichen is going to have that team ready again.
You have belief in Khalil Shakir.
So I'm going to go Indy.
You have belief in Mac Hollins?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wide receiver 1, Mac Hollins?
Yeah, let's do it.
Curtis Samuel light you up?
Hey, man.
You were a big fan back in Washington?
He's a beast with the Commanders. Beast.
Cool.
Beast even.
No, clearly. This is not a playoff team.
Hold on. Last year, you can make the same argument.
Different
team. Granted, their schedule was not as they had moments where they could just roll through teams.
Coaching change middle of the year. You've had turnover in players, lost big name players on both sides of the ball, and you lost most of your wide receiver room.
Did it lose Michael Pittman?
Not Indy, Buffalo.
Oh, no. I went to Indianapolis.
Okay, sorry.
I didn't make that distinction. But as far as Buffalo, like there's multiple reasons why I put Indy over them. Yeah, and you were naming them.
My only problem with Indy is you don't know what it looks like with Anthony Richardson. You saw a couple of games up front, and I think the games at the beginning of the season will be better for Richardson than the games at the end of the season, just because of the getting him on film thing. I mean, he's a specimen, but he's not the typical football player. He's not a standard quarterback that you'll see 17 times in a year. He's a special player. You got to learn how to play him differently.
Right.
I don't think it's like, we play Lamar. We know what it looks like. Not the same player.
You don't think that he could have a C.J. Stroud type of season?
I think it's possible. I don't think it's probable. You are talking about a kid who threw the ball like 65 times in his career.
He scored like 7 touchdowns in 7 quarters.
I think it was like 4 in 4 games or something like that. But that being said,
yeah,
I think in the early on in the season, you'll see that. I think by the time you get halfway through the season, fatigue will set in, and people will understand how to play this kid. I don't think Indy has a good year with him.
Okay.
You put Indy at number 9?
Indy at number 9. Lock it in.
All right, I got Buffalo there. Number 10. You still got Pittsburgh on the board. You still got, I have Indy, and then most of the West. I don't know, man. I don't believe the Chargers are going to be good. I don't believe Vegas is going to be good. I don't think Denver is going to be good. I think Tennessee's going to stink.
I think Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin will find a way.
Yeah.
Because that's just what happens.
I'll put Pittsburgh in my 10 spot, too, just because you're right. He really doesn't lose more than 8 games in a season.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple of good guys under center. It's just, will either of them have time to get comfortable in that offense with Arthur Smith? Arthur Smith likes to run the ball. He's got Najee Harris. I don't know, man. Last 2 years, Najee Harris has not looked tip-top shape.
No, not at all.
I mean, he's dealt with injuries, too, but you've also got a receiver issue in Pittsburgh. You've got supremely talented George Carl Pickens, but he doesn't have someone on the other side. And quite frankly, you saw what happens to Pickens when he feels like things aren't going well. I feel like that blows up in a bad way, especially for a guy like Russ. So I don't know that I believe in Pittsburgh to be a playoff team, but I could see them being better than a lot of the league. In the 11th spot, now that Pittsburgh is off the board, the entire AFC North is done. You've still got New England in the East. I've still got Indy, Tennessee, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
Give me the Raiders.
Who's your quarterback?
Gardner will probably win at some point, even if he doesn't start off as a starter. That's what he does. He goes places, thinking that he has a chance at being the starter. Maybe he doesn't start, but then eventually an injury or for whatever reason, he gets out there, just like last season. I mean, it didn't look great all the time, but again, 9-8 is 9-8.
Sure.
And he was at the helm of most of that.
Look, if it's Gardner versus Aiden O'Connell, I think Gardner wins the matchup. I mean, I think he's the starter.
Okay.
I think he's earned that.
That sounds so disgusted with Aiden O'Connell, but okay.
No, I mean, I don't mind Aiden O'Connell. I just don't think he's better than Gardner Minshew on when it comes to playing quarterback.
Okay.
But this is where I slot Indy at the 11th spot. Because I think they will be a middling team. I think Anthony Richardson will be new enough that people won't know how to defend it at first. I think they'll get used to it on tape. I think they need more offensive firepower. They don't have it. I'm curious to see if Steichen can overcome that with RPO. Because if that does work out well for them with the tools that they have, it could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Miami and San Francisco used to be with Wildcat. It could be the new generation of Wildcat. But you got to see it before you can believe it. I've got him in the 11.
Okay.
In the 12th spot, you going back out west, you've got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Titans. You've got the Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah,
we're getting really to the grossness right now.
I say give me the Chargers because of Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh. Then after that, it's a toss-up. The Broncos. No, give me the Titans because I think
you got the Chargers or the Titans in 12?
Chargers at 12.
Here's my problem with putting the Chargers at 12.
Yeah.
There's no really a throw to for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, but the great ones figure it out.
With nobody?
They figure it out.
Even Tom Brady got Randy Moss or Gronkowski.
For 2 seasons. Well, okay, for Gronk.
Edelman.
Well,
Wes Welker. I'm not saying Edelman and Wes. No,
I'm not doing that. We're not doing that with Wes Welker and Edelman.
I'm not saying Edelman and Wes Welker are Hall of Famers.
They are something because of the system that Tom Brady put them in.
They are possession receivers getting balls thrown to them by a highly accurate quarterback. That is a weapon.
So I don't know if the Chargers have somebody like that right now because household names Edelman and Welker were not prior to them getting to New England, unless I'm missing something.
Didn't Welker have a decent career in Denver, or was that after the Patriots?
That was after.
Josh Palmer, okay. Quentin Johnston was supposed to be good. You didn't see it last year. It looked bad, not just not good.
Mm-hmm.
Lad McConkey, you don't know what it is. You got to see it in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're counting on Lad McConkey to carry your team, there might be an issue.
There might be.
Gus
or he
Edwards.
might be Puka Nacua this season.
Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. Like that worked on Baltimore with that scheme. Does it work in Los Angeles?
It's a good point you make. But I'm looking at the most important position, quarterback, out of the last 4 teams you named, and is Levis better than Herbert? Is Jacoby Brissett, is he better than Justin Herbert? And whoever Denver's putting out there, was it Drew Lock? I don't know. Again?
Drew Lock on the Giants, by the way.
Yeah.
Expected to start. over $50 million Daniel Jones.
Who do you got, Aaron?
In my 12 spot, I'm having a hard time not putting Tennessee there because I think it's going to be ugly in Denver. If you start Bo Nix or any of the other 2 guys, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in the Chargers, but out of all these teams, when you add Harbaugh and Herbert together, maybe they do kind of figure out a little bit of they'll win more than 6 games. And when you get to 12 out of 16, that's pretty much where you're at, right? I'll follow you on that 12 spot. Chargers. Right now, the count goes for me. KC, Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Jets, Cleveland, Miami, Jacksonville, Houston, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Indy, Chargers. You've got KC, Baltimore, Cincy, the Jets, Houston, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Miami, Indy, Pittsburgh, Vegas, Chargers. We'll be back with spots 13 through 16 on the Aaron Schachter Show, ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and very warm today with just a hit-or-miss shower later this afternoon. Highs in the upper 80s, dropping into the 60s tonight. And partly sunny, very warm tomorrow. Your Thursday high up to 88. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Save thousands on hundreds of Mother's Day gift ideas. Now at Beards Diamonds.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
On Guarding Your Nest Egg Radio, Mike Lester, founder of Talon Wealth, focuses on a key question many share. Do I have enough to retire?
For starters, we'll do the math for you. But to me, it's really more about lifestyle. I want to find out what's important to you. I want to find out what your expenses are. And then I'm going to give you a realistic expectation moving forward of how your money needs to be invested to accomplish your goals in retirement.
Get to know Mike at guardingyournestegg.com.
Snyderman, can you jump really high? Can you turn invisible?
Can you see me now?
Yes.
Then no.
Then what makes you a superhero?
Our AC is out.
Duty calls, kids.
If your AC is running but not cooling, making loud noises, or your home's too humid, now you can schedule an appointment online at SnyderAC.com.
You're my hero, Snyderman. CAC 1813307.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Bueller Air Conditioning presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, a corporate management manager from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Les Blankston.
Yeah, hi, Bob.
That is a remarkably beige suit there, Les. Tell us, why are you on the show?
Well, I just replaced my old air conditioner with a new one from Bueller, and I'm just so comfortable these days. I wondered, am I cool now?
Let's find out, Les. Go ahead and spin the wheel.
That's right, Les. By upgrading your old AC to a more energy-efficient model from Bueller Air Conditioning, you'll save money, save energy, and proudly show your family that you
are cool.
Ooh, do you think I should get a mohawk?
Pace yourself, Les.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Jacksonville is the largest city in the contiguous U.S. in square miles. So when you have to cover breaking news over an area bigger than L.A., Phoenix, or Dallas, you need an advantage. Action News Jax with a fleet of news-gathering drones to take you to breaking news live as it happens. And with more investigative reporters on the ground in every local county, you're informed no matter where you live. Action News Jax. Local coverage you can count on.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/build to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/build and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anna Jar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Spring has sprung, and tax return season is here. Now's the time to beautify your home by replacing your old windows with new energy-efficient, easy-to-clean windows from American Window Products. Keep the summer heat out with special glass packages, including low E3 and argon gas. American Window Products only uses the highest quality products and professionally trained employees to install. Call now to find out why they were voted the #1 window company in Jacksonville. 731-2247 for a free estimate, or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Hey guys, we're the Twin Peaks Girls. We just love guys that listen to the Young and Norvell Show. Weekdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Have you seen your financial freedom wiped out by stock market volatility? It's Rich Jones. Consider investing in real estate funds from DLP Capital. Don Winter is CEO and founder.
DLP Capital has provided our investors with consistent double-digit returns by investing in cash-flowing residential real estate. For more than a decade, we have had zero losses, little volatility, and have shot above our return targets in all of our investment funds. Plus, we offer monthly distributions and tax shelter opportunities.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show, 904-362-9901, Power Ranking, the AFC post-draft Power Ranking. Here's where we stand. Me and Brian agree on 1 through 4, KC, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and the Jets. Power Ranking. KC, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and the Jets. Then we start to disagree here. 5 through 12 is where we went. Brian, you've got Houston, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Miami, Indy, Pittsburgh, Vegas, and Los Angeles. You might have left out the Bills.
Yeah.
Did you intend to get them in there?
I would like to make a adjustment to my list.
Houston, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Miami.
And get Buffalo where Vegas is at for me.
Indy, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Vegas.
Yeah.
And then you're putting the Chargers next. That would be a 13?
Yeah.
For me, the 13 is Tennessee.
Oh, look at you, a true believer.
This is where you're going to love the way you look in Tennessee. This is where Tennessee slots in here. They did improve. I can't pretend they didn't. Will Levis doesn't just have DeAndre Hopkins. He's got DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. Now, they may not have Derrick Henry, but it's not like they have nobody. Tony Pollard, Tajee Spears, like these are good football players. And granted, the offensive line isn't done, I don't think, in Tennessee. If it is, it's not going to look great. But it's certainly, I think, better than what it looked like last year. And they got L'Jarius Sneed on the defense. They signed a couple of defensive guys. I don't think they're going to be terrible, but they weren't really terrible last year. I think they're a little bit worse than last year as all the new pieces get installed, including your new head coach and new play callers. But I don't see it being a disaster. I've got Tennessee in the 13th spot. 3 teams left, Brian. New England, Denver. Who else is left? I've got Vegas still.
Okay.
You've got Tennessee, New England, and Denver. Where are you going next?
Yeah. In that order.
So you go Tennessee next.
Uh-huh.
Because now you're a believer.
Yeah, like 14. Yeah.
And you think Denver or New England is after Tennessee?
Yeah. At that point, I go for who has the better quarterback. And I just poo-pooed on Jacoby Brissett last block, but I think he's actually serviceable.
Sure.
So, I don't know, again, it's better than Bo Nix.
So you go New England, Denver.
Yes.
Here's the thing. In my 14th spot, New England, Denver, and Vegas. I'll go Vegas here because I don't think Antonio Pierce has the pieces. I do think he's a good football coach. I think his players like playing for him. I think they play to play for him. They appreciate that guy. I think that makes him play harder. The 15 and 16 spot. This is where it gets a little dicey because while I don't think Bo Nix is going to be a great NFL quarterback,
okay,
I don't think there are many pieces in New England. I'm going to pull up their depth chart. They're not really playing with too much in the cupboard right now. Like you said, you got Brissett, Drake May behind him, but we're probably not going to see Drake May until, I don't know, midway through the first season, if at all.
Okay.
Don't forget rocket-powered Joe Milton behind the both of them. And Ramondre Stevenson is great. Good running back. But, you know, Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, and Jalen Polk ain't going to do it. Not going to do it. Not with Jacoby Brissett. Certainly not with Drake May. They do have a whole Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper in the wide receiver room.
You said it like that, man. All right.
I'm just saying, Hunter Henry sounds like a wrestler name, doesn't it?
Like Wes Welker.
Isn't Triple H's name Hunter Henry or something?
Yeah, like Hunter Hirsch.
There is a Hayden Hurst. We should know him very well.
He's from here.
Yes. But Hunter Henry is who the Patriots have, as well as the expiring contract of Austin Hooper. Always reminds me of Theo Ratliff. The offensive line isn't great, and where it is not great, where it is not bad, it's old. They did re-sign Mike Onwenu. He's a good right tackle, but City Jake Andrews, Cole Strange, Okorafor, it's not great for Jacoby Brissett or Drake May.
So then you believe in Sean Payton
way
more.
Here's the thing. I really want to see Sean Payton fail for all the Nathaniel Hackett stuff.
I say you and Nathaniel Hackett both.
I really want to see this guy fail. I kind of hate him. He's got a smug nature about him.
And, man, say it again.
And, you know, me and him actually have this in common where he derives joy from other people's misery.
Mm-hmm.
I can get with that. But I just don't like when he does it. Anybody else, I'd be all right with. For that reason, I want to put Denver in 16th place on this list, even though I do think they'll be better than New England. I don't know that New England's going to win more than 2 games. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe they get an opportunity to draft some more tools next year. But here's where we stand. The final count. Top 5 goes KC, Baltimore, Cincy, Jets, Cleveland for me. For you, sub Cleveland and Houston. You think Houston is a top 5 team. How many wins for Houston next year?
Got to think 11.
Okay. That's a hefty number now.
That's a lot.
Hefty number.
It's a lot.
Then I go Miami at 6. You say Cleveland at 6. I say Jacksonville at 7. You're with me on that. I say Houston at 8. I think Houston does not win the AFC South. I think Jacksonville wins the South. You think Jacksonville is second in the South. Miami for the final playoff spot, according to you. Then I go Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Indy. You go Indy, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Same. They're all kind of in that same tier there.
Yeah.
Like these are teams who could be good enough to get to the playoffs with a little extra push. You bring on one more superstar or something like that, maybe get that 8th seed. Then it gets kind of weird for us. I go Chargers, Titans, Raiders. You go Raiders, Chargers, Titans. Who on the Raiders, besides Gardner, I guess Devonta Adams and Max Crosby?
Mm-hmm.
But
besides, we're good right there. I love the ones you just named.
Because, football, 11 guys on each side. Like Max Crosby is good, but most teams have a pairing of dudes to be effective. Most teams will either pair pressure from the front to supplement the corners.
That's why they
or coverage from the corners to supplement the front. I don't believe Vegas is really doing either of that.
But that's why they grabbed old boy from Miami. Wilkins.
Oh, Christian Wilkins.
Yeah. Going to be an issue out there in Vegas.
I do like Christian Wilkins. I just don't think Harbaugh is like a loser's coach.
Well, no, but
it's not in his coaching DNA.
But that doesn't mean that the winning is going to be instant.
You're right. And I don't think it will. But I don't think Harbaugh is walking in there at 10 wins for the Chargers. But I also don't think it's a 3-win season, which if, Brandon Staley was still there with the roster they have now, giving up Eckler, giving up Keenan Allen, giving up Mike Williams. That kind of nonsense. And I go, this might be a 3-win team. It might be. Who'd they pick at offensive line? It was, Joe Alt. That's a good pick now.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
He's not going to move the needle wins-wise, I don't think.
At least he give Herbert some breathing room when he needs it. He's got receivers who you don't think can really separate as well as maybe a veteran receiver, because you don't have one here with respect to Will Dissly at tight end.
Well, let me ask you this, man. You're looking at our lineups right here. Someone who's not technically in the playoff seating, if you looked at your lineup right now, which one of them could have a surprising season in the positive?
Interesting. So I think Buffalo's kind of a wild card in that. You just don't know what it's going to look like.
Okay.
Because Josh Allen is the do-it-all quarterback when he had Stephon Diggs, when he had James Cook and Devin Singletary and whoever else they had in Buffalo. I mean, they still have Dalton Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
But you just don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
And like Josh Allen wants to stop being the running quarterback, but when you don't have guys to throw to, what are the choices you're making out there? No one's ever looked at Josh Allen and been like, now there's a great decision maker. And so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm just saying, he's not out there like doing 5-read progressions. He's look, run. So I'm not sure it's Buffalo. Pittsburgh could shock some people, especially if Arthur Smith is able to dumb down the playbook a little bit for first-year quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Not that they can't handle a big playbook.
Sounds like that's what you're saying, but that's
well,
okay.
Actually, I know it sounds like that's what I'm saying. Allow me to elaborate. I'm just saying it's new. New coach, new coordinator, new team, new players. They got to get the timing down with the new players they're playing with. You got the whole Justin Fields sitting behind me if you're Russell Wilson. I mean, the second Pittsburgh sees a bad outing from Wilson, there's a problem. And I know Tomlin's not the guy who's given up on Russell Wilson after a bad game. Like maybe after 3 or 4 bad games he's doing it. But he's going to let this kid cook a little bit unless Justin Fields comes in the preseason, just balls out and embarrasses Russell Wilson.
Right.
Then it's a different story. I think Pittsburgh could be a surprise here. I don't believe in Indy. That's it. If I'm picking a team on the outside looking in, my top 3 goes Pittsburgh, Indy, Buffalo. despite the power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is on the outside looking in that could make it?
Strictly mathematical, Aaron Schachter. Or not pattern, not mathematical.
Okay.
AFC South, breaking down the champs. Haven't had a back-to-back champ in years now.
Mm-hmm. And it's still going to continue this year.
3 seasons ago, Tennessee.
Yep.
2 seasons ago, Jacksonville.
Go get him, Duval.
Last season, C.J. Stroud and the boys down there in Houston.
Boo.
Who's up next? Whose turn is it in the rotation, in the round robin of the AFC South
You're
champs?
not going to say Indy, are you?
The Indianapolis Colts. I hate to see it. I hate their field.
Boy.
I'm going to go Kendrick Lamar real quick. I hate your field. I hate your jerseys. I hate the way you run routes. I hate everything about it almost as much as I hate, Nashville and the Titans, but it's their turn.
It's not their turn.
It's their turn. They have the biggest chance to be a surprise for me right now as it stands May 1st, 2024, according to Brian Middleton.
It's very much not their turn.
I literally, the rotation says it's their turn.
You're talking about a wide receiver group that's the same as last year.
Okay.
Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman Jr.,
Yeah.
Josh Downs.
I've seen Alec Pierce cook the Jags.
For a
Michael
season?
Pittman Jr. He had
You saw Alec Pierce throwing a good season?
No, cooked the Jags.
Oh, a game.
Oh, when they won the AFC Championship.
We're talking about practice. Not a game.
All right. Just telling you, out of those teams that aren't in my current playoff
You're talking
seedings,
about a wide receiver who had a monster 32 reception season.
Hey, man.
You're talking about a guy
I didn't say he was all pro.
who put in an insurmountable 514 yards in 2023.
So then why did he
This
cook
is the
the
guy
Jags?
leading you to the playoffs.
Why'd he cook why'd he cook the Jags then?
Everyone gets one game. Everyone gets one game. But if you're talking about Alec Pierce and his can't be beat 2 touchdowns on the 2023 season is the great hope, I feel like Indy's got to go back to the drawing board a little bit.
Okay.
That ain't it. But out of all the other teams on the outside looking in, they're on there for me. 3rd. I just don't believe in Buffalo. I think the regression continues there. I'll be happy to see it. Laughing the whole way. Look at the boys in blue and red, except for Keon Coleman. I want to see this man succeed. I would love to see Keon Coleman have a 2,000-yard receiving season.
And then go 0-17?
Yes. Bring it.
Can they do that, please?
Bring it. You know how funny those press conferences would be? It'd be great. It'd be great. Keon Coleman sitting at the presser. Somebody save me. It'd be great. We're about to save you by saying goodbye. It's the Aaron Schachter Show. We're done for the day. We'll be back tomorrow, power ranking the NFC right here on ESPN 690.
Why Arlington Toyota? Because summer starts here. That's right. It's the Summer Starts Here sales event, and Arlington has a huge selection of new vehicles in stock in one location. And every new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty, unlimited time and miles. Plus, you get 60 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and Arlington's Credit Helper program to help you get financed. There's even complimentary car wash with every service and so much more. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today.
Snyderman, can you move things in your mind?
Nope.
Could you read our minds?
I got nothing. Were you thinking of nothing?
No. So, what makes you a superhero?
I can tell if you should repair or replace your air conditioning system.
Snyderman can help tell you whether it's time to repair or replace your system if you answer 8 quick questions on our website. Visit SnyderAC.com and get your answer in a flash.
Flash? I think you mean Snyderman.
CAC 1813307.
She's always been there for you with hugs, smiles, and an encouraging word.
This year, show Mom how much she means to you with a gift from Beard's Diamonds.
Save thousands on hundreds of ideas for Mother's Day, including Rolex watches.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
See dealer for
for complete details. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary, serving Jacksonville with the largest pre-owned inventory sale in our history at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Choose from Ram trucks, Jeeps, Ford, Chevy, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, and more. Many starting at below market value. We have lots of financing options. Get approved today. There's only one dealer with so much to offer. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Only at I-295 and Bay Meadows.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today. Because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com.